What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Detroit? You are listening to 88.1 FM WHPR and 107.3 WVIE in the Virgin Islands. And those of you that are on Facebook Live, you are checking us out and seeing what's going on in the studio today. You know how excited I get about my hometown. I've said many times, I'll debate anyone from anywhere. I can outright you, out-debate you, out-discuss anything with you, outsmart you, because I got Viking blood running through my veins. Inkster, Inkster, Inkster. And so I am honored to have the mayor of my great hometown, the City of Inkster, Mr. Patrick Wimberly. Say what's up to everybody, Mr. Mayor.
Well, first of all, Valerie, thank you for having me. I mean, I'm so excited. You just don't know. When you talk about Inkster, I just get all bubbly and like I'm just ready to explode. Inkster is definitely one of those places, not only that you call home, but it is truly a place of legacy. And as I like to say, you know, a place of excellence in everything that we do. And even when we talk about, you know, just the overall geographical location of Inkster, it is just such a cool place. Historic Michigan Avenue running straight through it, 8 minutes from the international airport. I mean, 20 minutes from downtown Detroit, 20 minutes from Ann Arbor, either direction. It is just the place, and I love Inkster. So I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
I am extremely grateful. I know you're a busy person. You know, it's a lot going on, but for you to take the time to come and just kick it with me and my viewers today, you are appreciated.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I've been looking forward to get on the show. You know, when you started this show, I think about a couple of years ago now, right? You know, I've been listening to it, dialing in, tuning in, and last year kind of, you know, really piqued my interest. You had some really interesting topics on the show, and then when you asked me to come on, I was like, I made it. I feel like I've arrived. So, you know, this is, you know, like an honor for me as well. So thank you so very much, because I know how much you love Inkster just like I do. And you represent it to the fullest.
Thank
and
you.
when we talk about, again, I'm going to hashtag this all night, you know, Inkster, the City of Excellence, and everything that we do, I believe that we should put our best foot forward and, you know, do it in quality of service to our people. So you're representing our people, and I love you for that, my sister. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. One love, peace and love to you.
Sure.
You know, I will tell anybody great things come out of Inkster, and I'm one of them.
No doubt about that.
You know, great things come out of it. So what would you like people to know about you?
Oh, man, I guess, you know, for me, just being a native son, I guess, you know, people are really understanding, like me, I'm a servant leader, you know, and everything that I do, I believe that, you know, you should take people into account, the people that you're serving, the community that you're serving, of course, your family, and, you know, just try to do everything that you can to the best of your ability. You know, my granddad always told me, you know, you try to treat everybody right. You can't necessarily treat everybody alike, but you treat everybody alike. And that's my main thing, is I approach the job of being mayor, and it is truly an honor to serve the people of our community. I just want to do the best that I can at every opportunity that I get to be able to showcase that.
You come from a rich legacy, a hell of a legacy.
Okay.
The Johnsons.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so your auntie Krisha, we were friends in high school. We're still friends. Distance in that time doesn't change what's in my heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love her. I love her daughter so much.
That's my aunt.
Your granddad.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Preacher.
Yeah, no doubt. No
Mr.
doubt.
Hardy. But then a lot of people don't know cable mogul and casino mogul, Don Barton.
Oh, yeah. That's my
Your uncle.
Yeah, for sure.
His brother,
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem, John Barton, your uncle, the Davises,
Oh, no doubt.
your
Yeah, for
cousins,
sure. Oh, yeah,
you know,
no
the
doubt.
gospel group. And then
I love the Davises.
the person who I hope you introduce me to, and even if I give him an elbow bump under the COVID, civil rights attorney, Vice President of Morehouse, Mr. Ira Joe Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I think he tuned in. When he saw I was going to be on your show, he dialed up, and that is my dad. So I'm fortunate, no doubt. No
Yes.
doubt. The legacy is real.
So having all of these great people in your family, do you have any other mentors? Like, because you're surrounded by great men of legacy and great men of accomplishment. Like, you really don't. Most people say, well, this person is my mentor. I looked up to Oprah Winfrey or whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't have to look up to anybody. You could just look around.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you left out a couple that were really, really significant. Really significant. Christian's brother, George Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much raised
Basketball,
me.
right?
Actually, George was on the school board. He was on school board for quite some time.
Okay.
And then he actually he ran for mayor. Believe it or not, he ran for mayor when I think he was like 23 or 24 years old. Somebody out there correct me on that. But most of my life I spent with him. Also with my uncle, Dr. Woodrow Whitlow. Dr. Woodrow Whitlow is NASA, actually Inkster Viking himself. Retired as deputy chief for NASA. Spent a lot of time with him. Growing up, actually lived with him in Virginia when I was in high school, in my 10th grade year of high school, 10th and partial 11th grade year. But I got homesick and was back in Inkster. But, just growing up with guys, Tyrone Orr, Lorenzo Terrell, Marvin Abney, just guys that, I looked up to, my Uncle Gary Johnson. It's like so many people, Tony Robb, Hardy Robb.
Oh, yeah,
I've been blessed, truly blessed, and when we talk about being a true native son of Inkster, it's just the water. Everything around you, just growing up, soaking it in, people really just pouring so much into me, and I was a little bit, a little knucklehead a little bit back in my day, but God has truly blessed me to be, here in the position today, and truly looking forward to, having my son and imparting that upon him, and really being able to impart that upon the kids within our community as a whole, so great people. I've been. When I say I can't, the list goes on and on. W. Howard Morris, Manuel Wilson. Just guys that have, Thomas Meredata, that have been George Williams, Councilman George Williams, Tim Williams. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So just great people. And when we talk about those names, those are legacies and family and legacy. So Inkster as a whole, again, is one of those places that is, some say a hidden jewel, a diamond in the rough, but it is the place, it is truly the place to be. And we are definitely living in a time that I believe that the light of not only God and his light, but the light of the universe is really bringing us into a time where we talk about, you had mentioned it earlier before we got on air, about Black Wall Street. Well, I believe that Inkster is primed to be more than a Black Wall Street.
Oh, absolutely.
Black Wall Street was great, in its day, and it continues to, as people become enlightened about, Black Wall Street and what it really is. Inkster is, just a melting pot of so many different cultures, so many different places of people, and where people come from and where people originate, and then people actually going across the world. Everywhere I go, people, I say I'm from Inkster, and they like, Inkster? Like, Inkster, I know you get this.
Yeah,
it seems like it's somebody somewhere from Inkster, or Detroit. It's kind of like either way, but Inkster is just one of those places where, we are change agents throughout the world, and I believe anywhere that we go, we're going to make impacts. So.
Absolutely, and I tell them quick, like, we like to have fun, we just don't play.
No.
We like to have fun so everybody on vacation.
That's right.
Let's not let the air in the room get so thick because I said I'm from Inkster. We like to have fun.
That's right.
We just don't play.
That's right.
What brought you into politics?
I was drug into it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Again, I love politics, but I like to think of myself as a people-tician versus a politician, and nothing against politics. Politics is what it is. When you truly understand the world is based off of politics. Your own home, you're dealing with politics. So in the world, for me to have the opportunity to serve in this arena, if you will, it was kind of tough when I first got into it. Mayor Hampton, again, another one of my mentors. He served for 20-something years on city council. I was actually a part of a community health center in the city of Inkster.
I remember that federally qualified health center.
Oh, well, it's still there, and it's actually doing a really, it's serving over about 25,000 people. How about that, And we started it from, just an idea back in 2006. and I was appointed by another one of my mentors, Dr. Rita Cash, who's the former CEO of Starfish Family Services and the founder of Starfish Family Services Youth Living Center. She passed away, but she put me with Oakwood Health Systems at the time. It's Beaumont Health Systems now. And the president of Oakwood Health System at the time, Jerry Fitzgerald, myself, and a few other people within the community, Joseph Stevens, who's actually a pastor over at New Birth Baptist Church. We served on the board, the first board for the West Wayne Family Health Center, and we had at our grand opening John Dingle, Debbie Stabenow, and thank you so much to John Dingle and his family and everything that he's always done for Inkster, and Debbie Stabenow, everything that she's done for Inkster. And they basically helped us make sure that we got all the funding that we needed and all the resources that we needed for Western Wayne Family Health Center. And I was its first president and acting CEO as we got started into the federally qualified health arena. And Mayor Hampton, he came out to the opening, and I didn't necessarily know anything about politics at the time, but he actually saw me, and he met me. I was about 29 at the time, and he was like, "You have to be in politics. You got to serve on the board." So I ended up serving on the zoning board of appeals, and a few great mentors there. I feel I have a lot of mentors, but served on the Downtown Development Authority for some time, and then Mayor Hampton was like, "I need you to serve on City Council." So I ended up running for City Council in 2008, and I was actually, because I was the highest vote getter at the time, I was actually appointed Mayor Pro Tem my first go around. So I served from 2008 to 2012 and decided that I needed to step away for a little bit to get a little bit more seasoned, really focus in on my family, focus on my finances. And, it was just throughout the years, people always come to me, "Patrick, you need to be in politics. You need to run back for your seat in District 5. Shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Kim Howard over in District 5. She's holding it down for us." So I said, "No, Kim's doing a great job. I'm just going to sit back." And kind of God ended up, he just stopped me in my tracks. As my life was moving a little bit forward, he stopped me in my tracks and made me realize that I had to spend my time and my talent doing what I'm doing now, and that's serving the people of the City of Inkster as our mayor. So I'm proud to do so.
Wow, yeah. You were boots on the ground, I know, with your campaign and the hibachi rice in the hood, everything. And I'm like, wow, you're really, really out there among the people, and that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Marquise, roll that clip of that Inkster promo video for me, please. Mayor, I want you to take a look at this.
Okay.
Inkster, a city with as much heart as there is history. From civil rights to Motown, Malcolm X to the Marvelettes, nothing can hold this city down. We rise from the assembly line to the Red Mill. Our legacy exceeds the boundaries of the city line. The heartbeat of Inkster is our community. Together striving for a better tomorrow. Driven by passion, they know Inkster is full of opportunity. We are a city of change, a city of aspiration. This comes from the people who live here. They give us hope and provide inspiration. Dedication, tenacious, caring, passion. These are the ideals that form the Inkster Foundation. The core inside everyone who calls our city home. Together, we set our sights on what's to come, raising our city as we raise our expectations. No doubts, no fears, no limitations. Are you ready? Are you willing? Get inspired, get invested, get involved, get in Inkster.
So again, you're listening to Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, WHPR 88.1 in Highland Park and Detroit, 107.3 WVIE in the Virgin Islands, and everyone on Facebook Live. I am here with Mayor Patrick Wimberly of the great city of Inkster. And you just watched a video that kind of culminates what you spoke about earlier about the great city of Inkster and the boundaries that are set around it. When you were watching that promo, what was going through your mind?
Dope. Just one word for me, just defines it all as true legacy. The richness of watching the promo, and shouts out to our very own Big Steve, our Councilman Steve Chisholm. He did the voiceover for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch.
You sound good, right?
Yeah, I did. I didn't catch that was him. Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but just the richness of Inkster. A lot of people don't know that the connection between Ford and Inkster, and during the great migration from the south to the north for work, when Henry Ford stood on his steps in Dearborn and called for workers for $5 a day, and we settled for the most part in the city of Inkster, and Henry Ford had a 100-year plan for the city of Inkster. When you go back and actually look at the history of how the south side of Inkster was set up, where predominantly African American families lived, Henry Ford provided the first school, provided the first hospital or health care system, if you will, in the city of Inkster on that side for African Americans. And he actually did loans for some of the first loans for African Americans to build homes in the city of Inkster. So when you talk about that promo itself, I really liked it because it showed the connection in between the Ford family and the Inkster family, which is rich, and we need to get back to that. And I'm really working on that. It's been 8 months that I've been in office, and of course during COVID, 5 of those months. So we're reaching out to our resources and really connecting into those resources to try to not only rebuild those, but expand those as well. So again, when I look at that promo overall, again, the voiceover from Steve was dope. I love it. It really shows the richness and the history of the city of Inkster, and then it challenges us to move forward and what we have planned for the city, which I believe is some wonderful stuff as we get to talking about it during this program.
Mayors have varying degrees of power and influence. Like a lot of people focus on president, which is important. But I stress on this show so often, your local level politicians and stakeholders are the ones you should pay the most attention to because they're accessible.
That's right.
For your views, your concerns to get to the president, you got to go through your congressperson or someone else. Your mayor should be practicing street level politics.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you have access to that individual person. You did very well with that. I was watching your campaign, and it was one of the, what made me sad about it was nothing about your campaign, but to just see how the citizens were going crazy between, who wanted Byron Nolan versus who wanted you. That part made me sad. The grappling, because your vote is your voice.
For sure.
And all of the other talking was basically nonsense, but I saw you never played into it. You just kept it clean, and stayed where you were at. You did an incredible job of connecting with the people during that campaign, but that wasn't your first rodeo connecting with the people. Roll this clip for me, Marquise.
I'm loving the show. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Holding me close. What was I gonna do?
was another way you connected to the community, Inkster Fest.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. Uneventful when it came to incidents, like no fighting, no violence, none of that. And I was just angry that the news wouldn't cover it from that aspect.
Right,
you know,
right.
if a dead body was on the ground,
doubt.
they'll be out there sensationalizing it, you
yeah,
know,
no
or whatever. And it gets me so mad when they do that, because even if someone comes and they overdose in the city, they won't say, well, the person lives in Northville, we found them in Inkster. It's like, nope, dead body in Inkster.
Yep.
You know, they always got to do it from that vantage point. But I will say that each and every year you got better, you got stronger, it got larger, and then we got COVID.
Then we got COVID, right?
So, but that wasn't your first rodeo, and I wanted people to know that, you know, you weren't just at street level politics when you were running, that you also were into bringing entertainment and other things to the city of Inkster prior to that.
Thank you for pointing that out. You know, Ruth Williams, I have to just give all kudos and take my hat off to Ruth, because I used to sing just a little bit when I was a teenager in high school, and every year she would make me come over to the Summerfest and actually perform. So it was like the kids' talent show. And back in like 1994, when we first had the first official Easter Summer Festival, it was over on Carlisle and Middlebelt, right there in that little section, in that open area section over there. And Ruth gave me one of my first jobs and actually had me working for the Summer Festival. So to be able to actually come back and actually work as one of the chair people and the organizers for the Summer Festival, it's just been a true blessing. And this year I was really looking forward to, you know, really setting it off. So next year, I just know once we, you know, all of this is lifted and this all goes away, you know, God's willing, we're gonna do something really spectacular. You'll see. I'm gonna show you.
Good.
It's gonna be great.
You don't have to show me. I want to MC.
Oh well, come on. Well, you guys heard it. You guys heard it here. You guys heard it here. You heard it here. Valerie, she's definitely MCing
I want to
that.
MC.
No
Black
doubt about
coffee,
that.
no sugar, no cream
That, you
in
know what,
the
we may
house.
even need to have like a whole panel set up, you know, how you set up, right, you know how they do the Grammys and all of that stuff, how you actually set up on the panel right by the stage, and you doing your thing from the stage to the,
I
oh, that'd
accept.
be good. All right.
You heard it here,
All right,
folks.
no doubt. We're going to make that happen.
I'm ready.
I love it, yeah.
You know, you're 8 months in, and 5 of them under COVID. I think people were expecting a miracle.
Yeah.
As they should. You know, I wouldn't say a miracle, but, you know, there are some things that you said you were willing to do for the city of Inkster, that you wanted to do for the city of Inkster when you were running. And that's good. We do want to hold you accountable for those things.
No doubt.
However, you inherited a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know why. I have some discussions with people. My mom is one of them.
Okay.
My mom voted for you.
Okay, well, tell her thank you so very much.
But we
I'm
have
gonna vote.
discussions. Well, I wish this would change, and what about this? And this month, she told me to tell you about her water bill.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So I'm
Believe
like,
me, I'm
Mama.
looking at mine, too.
Yeah,
so,
you know.
yeah,
but
for
the
sure.
thing
I'm
is,
working on
like, 8 months in office, 5 of them in COVID. I don't know what the hell people expected, for real. You know, to be honest, it's black coffee, so the black coffee coming out
No, that's
now.
good. I'm good with that.
But I don't know what people really expected so quickly. But there are some things, I'm sure, that are in the making.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, you know, Valerie, you know, I just blame it on the world most of the time. You know, we live in a microwave society, you know. Everybody want it now, you know. It's like, what have you done for me lately, you know, and when is it going to happen? You know, for me, I understand having patience is a virtue, you know, but at the same time, I know people want results. So it's important for me when people call me. That's why I always give out my number direct. You know, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, you know, I don't know if you can communicate with me on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok, you know, so it's
Your
know,
son laughing.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm trying. I want the kids to be able to get to me. I want everybody to be able to get to me. So it's important for me to be able to, just like with your mom's issue and understanding the water bill and how the increases happened, being able to truly make sure that I'm explaining it to a person where they get it, versus me having a level of understanding. It's a difference when, you understand versus what another person understands. So, for me, I'm working, my number one goal in the city of Inkster right now is to make it clean and safe, therefore making it sustainable overall. When we talk about a true vision for the city of Inkster, we can talk about putting beautiful buildings up and, everybody's having a job and, no crime. However, the reality is that we have to take what we have right now and make it clean, safe, and accessible. And then from there, everything will start to take care of itself. It's just like, cutting your grass and coming outside and actually seeing your grass and seeing it groomed and you got nice flowers and all that stuff. And then something happens, whether it's a storm or whatever happens, or the grass just grows, you didn't get back to it. You have a different feeling. When you see it and you're like, oh man, the storm messed this up. Or, oh, I didn't cut my grass for a while. So it's a different type of feeling to when you actually have things that are clean, that's manicured, that's, that's really have curb appeal. So Inkster is 6.2 square miles. It's like a size of a city block in the city of Detroit, So when I look at Inkster, it's important that, I try to touch all four corners and everything in between. And the main thing that I can do right now during COVID, right, because COVID is still here. It's not going anywhere, so let's be mindful of that. I hope everybody's staying safe, wearing your mask. We got our masks here. Valerie had her mask here as well. But, we have to use this time wisely, and it's to really get those policies and procedures in place, get the equipment into place, get the right personnel into place. So then for these next 3 years, we're really focusing in on the deliverance of the services. So we've done quite a bit already, and I'm moving it forward. Believe that the needle is definitely moving forward, and I'm looking forward to. We didn't get to do a state of a city, because of COVID. So I'm going to do a 1-year report come November. And, hey, maybe I need to come back here and do my 1-year
And you're
report.
welcome to. I would love to have you do that.
Yeah, but I'm looking to do my 1-year report, to the citizens. So kind of like a 1-year report card, overall, and looking at where we need to tighten up and how we can work together. But it takes us all, Believe me, I'm far from being anything like Jesus outside of, knowing that, everything that I do, that I ask for forgiveness and, know that he takes care of it all and he covers me. But I know that you have to have the right people with you. You can be a great quarterback. Tom Brady's a great quarterback. But if you don't have that front line of people that's actually working with you, the community, the pillars within the community, your private organizations, the corporations within the community, the philanthropic groups within the community, the nonprofits within the community. You need them all work, the churches, everybody, working together for one common goal, and that's to protect Inkster and make Inkster a better place for all of us to live and our kids for the next 100 years and beyond.
Well, one thing I love most about my hometown that has not changed is that Inkster love.
Oh, no doubt about that.
People who are bred Vikings or bred Bulldogs. Just that Inkster love.
That's right. You can't leave the Zebras and the Rockets out either. You got to give them some love over there.
Who are the Zebras?
Well, you got the Zebras, Wayne Memorial.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we do have those funny boundaries. So I'm sorry,
anybody
from Inkster, But when you grew up in Inkster, you can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of that Inkster love.
That's right. No
right.
doubt.
That's one thing that is consistent. It has shifted a little bit, and we have to get back to it. And I think that's with the rearing of our children and all of that. And we'll get to the crime part shortly, but what I do want to say, there are some historical aspects of the city that are being maintained, right? Marquise, can you roll that clip for us? Here's one of them, and you were a part of this lately.
Okay.
We're sitting here at one of the historical sites in the city of Inkster. This is 4336 William Street, and this house right here belonged to a man named Winford Little. Winford Little was one of the oldest brothers of Malcolm Little. And if you don't know who Malcolm Little is Malcolm X. So, and as the story goes, Winford Little lived here at this home, and some more of the Little family lived here in Inkster as well. But when Malcolm went to prison while he was in Boston, Malcolm's parole date came up. So this had to be in 1952 when his parole came up. When Malcolm was released from prison, he went and lived with his sister in Boston. I think he stayed there for about a week or so, and then he transferred out here to 4336 William Street. So how he got here was, if you ever saw the movie Malcolm X with Denzel Washington, the one Spike Lee produced, you will see in the movie that when Malcolm got ready to, when he started learning about Islam, he had started writing letters to everybody. So during that time, how Malcolm became under investigation by the FBI was Malcolm had wrote a letter to the president during that time, and when the letter went to the president, the FBI flagged it as almost, I want to say, sort of like a terrorist kind of letter that he had wrote. But it wasn't a terrorist letter, but he was just issuing his concerns about like how black folks are done just in general and things of that nature. So the FBI flagged it. So that's how he went under investigation, and that's how this house was registered as his residence in 1952 when he came here. So if you pull up the FBI file on Malcolm X, it'll show the listing of 4336 being his residential address. So just basically growing up in Inkster.
So that's one of the historical aspects that is being maintained. Shout out to Aaron Sims and DeJuan Lynn for even approaching the city to get the house in their possession. And then you recently secured $30,000 in funding for them. Is that correct?
That's a good one. That's a good one. We're working on it. We're working on it. Let me say this, that it's going to cost us about $15,000 to do. With the NSP program, one of the things that, and I give a shout out, give credit where credit is due, that the former administration did under Mayor Nolan, is they set out on a program that's called the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. And it's pretty familiar throughout the country. And one of the things that has been really successful in doing is taking some of the blighted properties within the community and redeveloping those properties, and not just renting those properties back out. And I have nothing against renters, but getting them into homeowners and being able to have homeowners come in, purchase those properties once they've been redeveloped, and these developers are doing a really good job at doing that, and putting them on the market and increasing our property values within the city. Our property values are going up in the city of Inkster. If you haven't been paying attention, pay attention to Inkster. It's probably one of the hottest zip codes in real estate in this area. But with that, what I'm doing is I'm actually charging those 12, we have like 12 or 13 vendors that are part of this NSP program, and we're focusing in on the Malcolm X house, also with the help from Habitat for Humanity and getting materials to be able to help, and also getting the manpower out to be able to help. Aaron and DeJuan, they're doing a fabulous job in leading the charge. So they've actually worked with a group called the 300 out of the city of Detroit. 300 men out of the city of Detroit is the group called 300, and they're actually a part of it as well. And their leadership is a part of actually helping and shaping and bringing back and restoring the Malcolm X home within the city of Inkster. So with the NSP providers, working with them and their resources. Also, too, with Habitat for Humanity, and then the 300, and then of course anybody else that want to donate to what we're doing. And we're putting together a performer for the most part, so you'll see it from beginning to the end. And then also, too, we'll have like a GoFundMe, a real robust GoFundMe, so you actually see where your money's going to and the impact that your money will have. So within the next, I would say 60 days, because of COVID again, it's put us back a little bit, but within the next 60 days, you'll actually see the development of that property begin to take shape. The University of Michigan is also involved. They're looking to do right next door to it, to do like a development center right next, attached to the property. So we're excited about all the possibilities within the city of Inkster with this historical property that's located there.
That's amazing. And there's another thing. So coming down Michigan Avenue, you ride through Dearborn, you know, coming from Detroit, which I've done a lot of times, just take Michigan Avenue and you get through Dearborn. Then when you hit Inkster, you get this dark spot.
Yeah.
Until you cross over into Wayne. What is your vision for that area?
Well, let me say that it's taken off. You know, when I first started, you know, I was looking at, and when I say when I first started, I'm talking about when I first started back in like 2000, 2003, you know, because I actually own properties along Michigan Avenue, and I actually have a couple of buildings along Michigan Avenue that I've restored. At the same time, my focus has always been Main Street for our city. You know, Inkster has, again, the best location around. I mean, Inkster Road runs from the city of Monroe, touching Ohio, all the way up past West Bloomfield, the actual Inkster Road itself. And then you got Michigan Avenue again running east and west, you know, to Chicago, you know, up to Port Huron. So the international airport, we're right there. So for me, when you come down Michigan Avenue, we've got an injection from Ford Motor with Bill Ford taking the lead on autonomous vehicles. I don't know if you heard the news, but autonomous vehicles are coming down Michigan Avenue, and they're starting from out of Corktown at the old train station, which is going to be the new train station for the Ford Center, and it's going to go up to the airport and have a base stop at the airport all the way to Ann Arbor and back.
Oh, wow.
Ford along with Google. I know I'm leaving some people out, but I know it's Ford and Google are the main ones. Of course, the state of Michigan. You know, kudos to our governor. You know, Governor Whitmer is doing a wonderful job, and her leadership for me is just so impactful and so genuine, because she called me and told me what was happening before it actually became news. So the Ford Foundation, not the Ford Foundation, the Ford, however they decided, the Ford Motor Company, along with Google and the Cavenue Group is actually paying for this particular project. So it's not going to cost the state of Michigan and those communities along the corridor a dime in order to get this autonomous vehicle lane down Michigan Avenue. And it's going to boost not only property values, but it's going to show true connectivity from downtown Detroit all the way through to Ann Arbor and the look of Michigan Avenue. So it's coming. You know, for me, again, making it safe, making it clean, lighting it up. We have a grant right now on our desk that we received from the state of Michigan for $145,000 for cameras along Michigan Avenue. So we're going to be strategically placing some cameras along Michigan Avenue. We have great community partners that own property along Michigan Avenue that's now in the process of fixing their properties up. We know we have some eyesores on Michigan Avenue, but we're using our enforcement.
Yeah,
to
ordinances
work with
can
them.
tighten it up.
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely, I know. I sit on the DDA for Belleville, and they
so
don't
you
play
know.
it. They
So
don't
you
play.
already know.
So I already know
You
how it
already
goes.
know.
I just wanted to hear,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
your vision for it, because I think it should just be seamless. You should know
that's
when
right.
you
You should
hit
know.
another
That's
community
right.
or whatever. And like you said, going down Inkster Road, Middle Belt, or Michigan
That's
Avenue,
right.
it should just be a seamless transition. You don't know
that's
where
right.
you are.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
We know Inkster has its share of crime.
For sure. Like everywhere else.
Like everywhere
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
but the media's sociological cancer metastasizes our city.
For sure.
And make it seem like it's the worst thing ever. So let's take a look at this clip.
Hi, I'm I'm Nalise, and I'm here in Inkster at Colonial Park. Hi, I'm reporting live in Inkster. I'm standing here with Bone at the Sunoco. I'm standing here with Yasmin, who is Sean, aka Chop's sister.
My father was shot to death in his kitchen in his home as he read his Bible.
Were you at work when someone was shot and killed right in the middle of the road running from the other barbershop across the street?
Yes.
Yeah. My cousin got killed 4 years ago.
Tyrell?
Yeah.
Say his name.
Tyrell Walker.
Do you feel like the media portrays Inkster in a negative light? It makes it worse than it really is?
I do, because they got the story wrong. It's not even the right story. They look at it from one person's point of view and not the other point of view.
It's not Inkster. It's the people. It's not Inkster.
I don't believe everything that the media would say about Inkster is true, but they're close.
You can't just label the whole city as just bad because of a handful over here and a handful over here. You can't do that.
Well, crime and corruption so bad in one U.S. city that it decided to do away with its police force.
And what's the worst thing that you've seen happen in Inkster?
My friend, baby, getting killed.
Gunman opens fire in an Inkster neighborhood, killing a 2-year-old girl, another child, and an adult.
I heard you sighing over there. I see some emotion going through you. I'm so sorry I didn't know that it would get that type of response out of you. I heard you say that that was your cousin or something. Yeah, so my condolences to you and your family. I've also lost my brother to gun violence, so I truly understand. I did not know that was one of your relatives, so
No, it's fine.
I
No,
apologize.
I mean most of the people that they named were my family or friends. I mean, you know, at the end, you know. So
yeah.
The last one was really emotional just because it's a really good friend of mine and it's his daughter. So
yeah. What that says to me, to see you in this emotional state after watching that, I know you care about the crime.
No doubt.
From more than just a mayor's perspective, it touched your heart. Mm-hmm. You know, it's your family. Mm-hmm. The broken window theory of policing, Inkster has implemented, and that is just cleaning up visible signs of disorder, like the gas station on the corner of Avondale and Middlebelt, the hotel on Michigan Avenue. That's that broken window theory of policing. We know that this is where crime is taking place, so we're going to shut it down. And kudos to you and whoever else was on your team to make that happen, because it was just way too many shootings and everything else happening at that gas station. It was just too much going on. Mm-hmm. I'm not against community policing. I love Officer Lebo.
Yep.
My cousin Darwin Harris was an Inkster police officer. Okay. Yeah. You know, I love community policing. But I think also people put too many expectations on the police. To me, community policing is good, but in my mind, the police's job is, when I call you, you come.
That's right.
For whatever I called you for.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's not to necessarily do all of this cleanup per se, because when it's time for the police to clean up, that's how we get into some of these situations that we get in when they say, oh, the sentencing was too harsh for the crime, or we have brutality, or we have all of these other things. The police cannot clean up our community in the way that we see fit. That's our job.
That's right.
The police is to come when we call them. That response time is what I'm looking for. If it's a situation I cannot handle and I call you, I expect you to show up. They can't raise our kids. We have to raise our own kids. They can't stop you from throwing your mask and your gloves on the ground and your trash on the ground and writing RIP on the side of a building because your friend died. None of that has anything to do with the police. That's us.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm not a snitch. I'm a neighbor that care about my community.
That's right.
And I live in the city of Detroit right now. And people say, oh, you can't say nothing to anybody, kids. Who can't?
Right.
And I'm ready for the repercussions.
Yeah.
But I'm saying something to your kid because you know why? I've had SOAR for 20 years. I've been inside of Ryan Prison. I had 120 inmates. I've had at-risk kids at alternative schools. Not one time have I ever been disrespected, assaulted, or afraid of my life. You know why? Because people just want to know you care.
That's right.
And they want to feel safe.
That's right.
And they want to feel loved. And if you approach the situations the right way, then you get the right response. You know, now I'm not going to say going inside of that prison with the 120 inmates, it wasn't kind of intimidating, but I'm like, Lord, you the first in, be the last out.
That's right.
I'm in the middle.
That's right.
Right? And I'm just going to do this work.
Love it.
What do you think? Because I heard you say you want the streets to be safe.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know, experiencing what you have experienced, what does that look like? What is your methodology? How do you plan on even addressing that? Because that's a big, huge undertaking.
Well, it is, but you know, you got to start from somewhere. The thing is that we haven't started. It's what you said. I'm not scared to correct a child or a grown-up if they're doing something wrong within our community. It's about holding us accountable, just like you want to hold me accountable for being mayor. It's like you said, you know, everybody thought, you know, I got this magic wand. I'm a realtor. I'm the pastor. I'm I'm a broker. I'm a counselor. You know, as the mayor, it's like you can fix it all. You the mayor. You know, but that's not the case. You know, I'm a man, and you know, I'm a native son of Inkster, and just looking at that clip, I know that the onus is on me and my brothers. And no offense to our women, you guys have been doing a fantastic job. I was raised by a single mom, you know, but it's time for the men of our community to stand up and say, this is our community and this is not going to happen anymore. Whatever it is in every corner of the community, when you talk about truly forming block clubs, being truly responsible, not just 9 to 5, 24 hours, 7 days a week, no matter what the conditions are, rain, sleet, snow, sun, and everything in between, and truly holding our people accountable and being the leaders of our community. It's going to take the men to rise up in our community today across America. And understand this is just not an Inkster thing. This is a true, when I say a true God thing, God is the head, the man is the leader of the community, and we have to stand up. And until we do that, nothing's going to change. So when you talk about a huge undertaking for me, and some people get on me all the time for saying this, right? I believe that in this position that I'm in, it was like the Jonah effect. I was running away from my calling, and God sent that whale and whoosh, and then spit me back out over here in Inkster to truly live out the true meaning for me and what I was built for and what I was built to do. Because I'm able, when you talk about the grassroots thing, that's just my family. That was just us working together and really, you know, trying to make a difference within our community and showing that we count and that we matter and that I'm a product of Saigon. You know, I grew up on Hickory Street, you know. I walk to Inkster High School every day. Vikings 100% through my blood. At the same time, I represent the entire city. And now how do I represent it? I represent it as a man of integrity and a man of action. And I call on all my men to stand with me. And that's why I do the things that I do, as I'm working with Aaron and the Malcolm X movement, with him standing beside me. You know, Will Miller, now the new president of Inkster Housing, and holding him accountable, and he holding me accountable for being a man of action within our community. So it's important for us to not only wrap our arms around our boys and correct them, but it's also too to show them how we socialize with one another, how we do business with one another, how we take care of our families, how we work hard, you know, how we sacrifice, you know, because again, we live in a microwave society, so everybody wants it now. The kids, they want to be rich now. I mean, they seeing all this stuff that's sensationalized on the internet and, you know, social media, and having these things in their hand, you know, don't make it no better. So you have to teach them because they have access to it. But what are we setting? what's the example that we're setting? And that's where I'm holding myself accountable with this administration as we move forward. We know it's a big task. So let's get to it. Let's get to work.
Take small chunks.
Let's get to work.
You know, you touched on housing, and I knew we were going to run out of time. We got a couple of minutes, but I wanted to be clear. There have been some incidents in housing. Again, they didn't just get that deplorable in 8 months.
No doubt.
Housing had to be on its way to that deplorable state before January when you got into office. But I wanted to be clear of the lines. You appoint the board.
Yes.
And the board selects the director.
Correct.
But HUD is over it all.
That's right. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm the gatekeeper of the community. So if the board that I selected and appointed with council confirmation is not doing what they're supposed to do as it relates to making sure that their subordinate, meaning the director, is doing the things that they need to do with transparency, integrity, and with true empathy for housing and understanding what's happening there, then, you know, we have to hold them accountable. And that's where the line stops. You know, we know that HUD's over all of it, right? But HUD's the government. It's a government agency, you know, and they give us funding, and then we appoint our board, you know, from our community, and then our community people, they serve their neighbors. And when we approach it from that aspect, you shouldn't have all of the things that have been happening for years now. It just didn't show up when the previous administration. It just didn't show up the administration before then. It was years of things that had happened that had piled up that we just let continue to pile up. And that's where it stops today with me. So we move forward. Welcome Tamika Sutton as our new interim director for Inkster Housing. She'll have to apply for the job just like everybody else, but I'm truly confident with the leadership of Will Miller as our as our president of Inkster Housing, and his support on the commission. We'll definitely move it forward over there.
Well, I would like to meet Miss Miller. I have some ideas for a family impact program. It's like a case management kind of overlay to housing. Nothing new. They did something similar in Ypsilanti, and it was funded by the Kellogg Center, and it worked.
So it's Miss Sutton, and then Will Miller is the president of the commission.
So I know Will.
So that's the president. So you can reach out to him, and he'll hook you up with Tamika Sutton. She's doing a wonderful job so far.
Fair enough. Well, as I always say, I run out of time when I get on these very passionate topics that I'm on, but is there any parting words you would like to say to our audience as we prepare to get out of here?
Oh, well, you know, I'm just going to say like my cousin Hardy always say, just spread love. You know, Inkster is one of those places full of love, like you said. And I think when you approach things in love, that it'll definitely work itself out. And that's just a practice that I try to practice every day in my life. So love you all. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I can talk myself out of another interview.
Oh, no. You can come back anytime. And if there's anything going on in the city that I can broadcast on the show or publicize on the show or bring light to on the show, I have no qualms about doing that. So
beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'm sorry. The scene. This is where the scene happened, right? Where one of our famous people, Adrian Daniels, one of my classmates, she used to be on the scene all the time. So,
wow, and you know the Funketeers brought the funk on here too.
So I'm actually here in that location, y'all. So just so you know.
Yes,
location.
So that's a wonderful thing. Look, my heart is full. I'm happy.
Yes.
Maybe we will do a part 2 because there's some other things that I didn't get to touch on that I would like to touch on. So we'll schedule that, and you can come back.
Thank you so much.
So as always, you've been listening to 88.1 WHPR, Black Coffee, No Sugar, No Cream, where I don't try to spill the tea or make you feel dazed like you had a shot of cheap liquor. I just want you to see things from another perspective, mine, and tonight, Mayor Wimberly. We will see you next week as we talk about the ups and downs of operating a black business. Why do people want to hook up? I've never seen them ask for it at Walmart, but I see them ask for it all the time if I have some to sell. So let's just break that down. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will catch you next week. We're out of here. So long.
met you, something whispered in my ear that you were the one. And I had won by merely becoming a contender for a prize that the world will surely envy. You were more than just beautiful and friendly. Cause see, I instantly wanted you to see the end with me. We were made for an eternity. You reminded me of my mortality, cause at that very second I thought that I would die if you weren't the one God had chosen to love me.
A gift telling my heart desires, a love on me so fierce with fire. My real revenge supply my needs.